Welcome to the presentation regarding the Massachusetts legislation titled An Act Modernizing Tobacco Control by Kristen Bunten. On September 24th, 2019, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker declared a public health emergency. This was a response to the outbreak of severe lung disease associated with e-cigarettes and vaping products. The Vapor Technology Association and other plaintiffs placed a lawsuit against Governor Baker and the ban, seeking to overturn the governor's 4-month ban on vaping products. Personal communication with the Massachusetts Department of Public Health School Health Services Director Karen Robitaille on November 6 revealed that the ban was about to be thrown out by the court system until a second death suddenly occurred. This death caused the courts to rethink their decision, and by November 6th, there were 3 confirmed deaths. The response to this declaration and situation, the Commissioner of the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, Monica Burrell, issued an emergency order to temporarily prohibit the sale of all vaping products, both in retail establishments and online within Massachusetts. In accordance with both the Governor's Declaration and the DPH emergency order, the Department of Public Health promulgated Emergency Regulations 105 CMR 801. Also on September 26, 2019, a petition from Ms. Danielle Gregoire of Marlborough and others was submitted to the House accompanied by Bill number 1902. This was relative to the sale and distribution of flavored tobacco products reported from the Committee of Public Health. It was submitted through various House committees and during September until a new draft emerged, H4183, on November 12th. It passed the House on November 14th with a vote of 127 to 31. On November 20th, the House and the Senate agreed on amendments. That bill was enacted and sent to the governor on November 21st, where it was subsequently signed on November 27th, 2019. Here are some of the details of the legislation which was passed. It immediately restricts the sale of all flavored nicotine vaping products to licensed smoking bars where they may only be consumed on site. It restricts the sale of vaping products with a nicotine content over 35 milligrams per milliliter to licensed adult-only retail tobacco stores and smoking bars. The new law granted DPH new authority to issue regulations to regulate the sale of nicotine vaping products, to ensure the public is informed about potential dangers of vaping, including vape-related lung disease, and to implement other provisions of the law in order to protect public health. These regulations will include how retailers and manufacturers must comply with the law's requirement that nicotine vaping products, including nicotine content of more than 35 milligrams per ml, may be only sold in 21-plus establishments, and require vaping products to be placed behind the counter in all non-age restricted retailers such as convenience stores. And currently these regulations are still being worked on. Although non-flavored vaping products with a nicotine content of less than 35 milligrams per milliliter may be sold in retail stores, beginning June 1st, 2020, the sale of all other tobacco products that have a characterization flavor will be restricted to licensed smoking bars where they may be sold only for on-site consumption. Please note that the ban on the sale of all vaping products does remain in effect until December 11, 2019, due to the emergency regulations put in place by Massachusetts DPH. The December 4th data from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Public Health shows that there are 30 confirmed cases of vaping-associated pulmonary injury as defined by the CDC, and there are another 60 probable cases. The statistics show that 49% of these individuals are male, 51% are female, 48% of these individuals are under the age of 30, 29% are between 30 and 49, and 24% are over 55. 81% of these individuals were hospitalized because of the situation. The breakdown in terms of product that was vaped is that 31% of the vaping was nicotine only, 39% was THC only, and 21% was both nicotine and THC. The other remaining percentages was either CBD or an unknown substance. Using data from the 2019 Massachusetts Youth Health Survey, it shows that the percentage of Massachusetts high school students that vaping is reaching an all-time high. 51.2% of the students surveyed this year in the category of, quote, ever tried vape products, end quote, have showed an increase of over 12% in just 2 years. And nearly half of the high school students, approximately 44%, report obtaining tobacco through a local retail outlet. So why is this a health law that interests me? For two reasons. One, because I work as a school nurse and I work with children and adolescents. The other reason is I have a very strong public health interest. So in looking at the dangers, this is where I get really concerned. First, there are similar risks as cigarette smoke, which is a well-established public health issue. Vaping products have increased nicotine and stimulation effects on the body. E-cigarette use in adolescents increases the frequency and future use of cigarettes. Nicotine interferes with the brain development of adolescents, which we know science has told us does not complete development till 25 years of age. I find this is a very insidious health issue. And by insidious, I mean it's difficult to detect and control in the school setting. Students can sit in front of teachers and be in the cafeteria, and adults who are not well trained are not aware that vaping is going on. And finally, one of the other dangers is that the aerosol can often contain volatile organic compounds. The first nursing implication is the importance of primary prevention. The importance of primary prevention in preventing dependence on tobacco and the development of tobacco-related illnesses. Non-smokers should be praised for making smart choices and alternatives provided for those who have just begun smoking or vaping. The education of adolescents is very important. It is important that nursing be able to speak to the dangers and health risks associated with vaping. And also nurses need to be able to educate teachers, school administrators, and parents about what is happening and why it is dangerous. And then nurses also need to be available and educated and knowledgeable about referral to cessation programs. This year in my school system, we will be adding a vaping question to the verbal screening tool used with middle school and high school students. This screening is a one-on-one conversation with the school nurse about risk behaviors regarding substance use, also referred to as SBIRT. At this point in the public health crisis, we can only presume and assume on what the financial cost will be, as I think we are in the beginning stages of determining what money will be. We don't have long-term data regarding the health of our current teenagers to know how much this impacts them long-term. We do know that short-term, that vaping and tobacco shop businesses are reported to be losing business and in danger of shutting down. But if we want to look at the healthcare costs, I went back and looked at the American Cancer Society. In 2012, the world spent $422 billion on healthcare expenses that were attributed to smoking. Those were only healthcare costs. When healthcare expenses are combined with productivity losses due to illnesses, the total in the economic impact was $1.436 trillion. That equals to about 1.8% of the world's annual gross domestic product. So what the current cost of this current outbreak is going to cost us in another 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years will remain to be seen. Thank you.